Alright, today we'll be using Autodesk Fusion 360 to draw some practice problems that you see in this document. The document here is actually sitting sideways to us, so we're going to download this and rotate it so you can view it easily. So hit the download button right up here for me. Okay, and you should see this menu come up. Go ahead and hit save. It'll save it right down here in the lower left hand corner of your screen. You can open that up. And now that you've downloaded it as a PDF file, go ahead and right click and rotate this counterclockwise so it turns to the left, and now you can see these pictures a little bit better. Okay, in our Fusion program we're going to be drawing 3D objects using these two-dimensional orthographic views. So top view is always here, front view and right side view. We're going to put this all together to become one 3D object in your Fusion drawings. Okay, here we go. So open up Autodesk Fusion 360. When you get here, you'll probably see a blank screen like this. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do over here in the Getting Started menu under Setup, let's change millimeters to be inches. So our unit of measurement turns out correctly. Alright, I'm going to start off by drawing this front side view right here, which is the shaded side of this 3D picture right here. I'm going to start in the lower left hand corner. I'm going to draw across here. It tells me it's 3 inches long. I'll go up. If I figure out 1 minus 0.25, that makes this 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. I'll draw over an inch, up 0.25, over 2, and back down. So I'm just going to draw this shape, and I'll pull it out 2 inches to be a 3D object right there, and I'll be done. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start by pressing the Sketch button. So create sketch is right here. So they want to know, where do I want to draw this? I want to use the vertical plane, this one right back here, because I'm drawing a vertical plane on that object. So there it is. I'm drawing on a vertical piece of graph paper right now. I'm going to use the line tool, which you can either press the L key on your keyboard, you can click this right here. Another option would be to right click and go to the sketch menu, and there's a line right there as well. So any of those options will get the line command turned on. Okay, I'm going to start at 0, 0 on the coordinate plane. I'm going to pull this out, it's 3 inches, so I'm typing 3 on the keyboard and I'm pressing enter. Okay, I'm holding a 3-inch long line. I do need to left click my mouse right there to set it down. The line command is still on. I'm going to go up 0.75, enter, and I need to click with my keyboard, or with my mouse, excuse me. I'm going to go to the left. Directions say that's 1 inch. So 1, enter, and a left click. I'm going to pull it straight up, 0.25, enter, and I'm going to click that into place all the way over here. I could type in 2 inches, but I've already got this here, so I might as well line things up. And I'll just do a simple left click, and I'll close the shape off right there. Okay, so here's what I've done so far. I'm going to use the view cube. I'll rotate the picture. You can hit the home button right up here if you want to. Okay, there's my two-dimensional picture. And to finish it off, I'm going to go to the Create tab here, and I'll use the Extrude button. Extrude takes any 2D closed shape, and you can pull it out into a 3D shape. So if you grab the arrow, you can pull on it, and I'm going to type in, I'm going to do a -2 so it goes into my screen. If I did +2, it would pull it out this way. So -2 works for me. And all those measurements, again, I took those from this area right here. I figured out what's what, and I turned it into that 3D object. Okay, to finish it off then, we're going to do a save. Okay, I'll call this problem number 1, and I'll put my name on it, Omen. I'll hit save. Right there. Okay, one other thing, when you get into saving, you're going to want to create some folders to help you with that, so you stay organized. Okay, this is problem number 1. Okay, we're going to move on to problem number 2. I'm going to scroll down, and here's problem number 2. Looks like we got a basic block with another block glued on top of it right there. That's something we could make in the shop out of wood. Okay, so we're going to draw, let's see, I think I'll draw the top view first. I'll draw the lower block looking down at it, and then I'll add the upper block in place Okay, we'll need to make sure this is the correct size and the right spacing away from the edge. So it looks like it's in the very center of the block. Okay, I'm going to go start a new file. So that's under the File menu, New Design. Right there, you'll see my previous problem is still right here underneath. I'm now working on this one called Untitled. At this moment, it looks like it's already in inches. Alright, so I'm looking at my directions here. I see that this thing is 3 inches long by 2 inches wide and an inch tall. So 3, 2, and 1 are the numbers I'm going to worry about for the bottom piece. Okay, so let's start a new sketch so we can draw that two-dimensionally. Since I'm looking down from the top, I'm going to use this top view sketch space right there. Okay, I'm going to grab the line command again, and let's draw this thing. It's 2, enter, and I'll continue on straight up. This is 3, enter, back 2 inches and close it off right there. I'm going to extrude this thing. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull it up 1 inch. Okay, so that lower part of the block is now done. I'm going to create a second sketch for the second part. Okay, I'm looking at this information right here, talking about this block. So it's a 1/2 inch wide, it's 1.5 inches long, and it's a 1/2 inch tall, is what this all tells me. Right there. So let's create another sketch. Now it's asking me where do I want to put it. I don't necessarily have to select any one of these 3 locations. I'm going to actually pick the top of the block right there. So I'm drawing on the top surface. Again, I'm going to grab the line tool. That's an option, but maybe it's easier to draw a rectangle instead. This will save you some time. Okay, I'm just going to take a little guess here as to how big this is, and I'll correct the measurements in a moment. Okay, so there's a rectangle. Let's look at it in 3D. Okay, I can then grab the sketch dimension command right there, and I can actually tell it how far away this line should be from an edge, and it'll move the line over there for me. Okay, so if you look back at the directions, it says this thing is 0.75 inches away. So click both of your lines and set it down. So that was a click here and a click there and a click in the middle. So 0.75, enter. Notice that line got moved over. There's my force dimension right there. So I'll continue on. I'll click this line, I'll click that line, and I'll set it down. 0.75. Repeat the same thing over here and here. 0.75. And again. Okay, so if I did that all the way around, my 1/2 inch should be here, my 1.5 inches should already be correct. You don't need to even dimension that anymore. It's already done. It's there. Okay, let's just simply extrude that surface, and that's going up 0.5. Enter. And problem number 2 is done, so please save that. Problem number 2, Omen. Okay, and if you haven't made a folder at this point, please make one. Okay, and call it your warm-up problems. Okay, and you can name it problem number 2, which we already did, and hit save. Alright, there it is. Problem number 2 is done. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Okay, here's number 3. It's kind of a curvy object here. So in other words, it's a box with 2 notches cut out of it. That's how I see this. I see myself drawing the front view first, and then just pulling out this 3D shape. So let's draw only the shaded side right here using the front view information. I'll probably start up here. No, I'll start right here in the bottom right corner, and I'll work my way around counterclockwise again. On this one. So a new design, it's in inches, create a sketch. Let's sketch the front face on this vertical plane. Grab your line tool. Start right here at 0, 0 as always. Okay, I'm going to go up 0.5 and click I'm going to go to the left, 1.5. Set that down with a click. Straight up, 0.5. And over 2. We'll head down. Now, it doesn't actually tell you what that is. However, you can figure out that it's an inch tall, and if you subtract 3/8 of an inch, it should be 5/8. So 0.625 down. You can head over 0.88. Oops. Made a little error there. Let's try that again. Starting here, we're going to go down 0.625. Let's head over 0.88 to the right. And we'll go down 0.38 to the bottom. .88 over. Down 0.38. And let's close it off back to the beginning right there. So there's my 3D shape. And extrusion. Let's push-pull that thing 1.5. I'm sorry, extrude that thing. Alright, and there you are. Let's save it. Problem number 3. Omen. Okay, and that's saving in the warm-up problems folder. Okay, we're on to problem number 4. Looks like we have an L-shaped object with a little notch cut out of the corner. So I'm going to draw the front view first. We'll draw the L shape. We'll create a sketch. I'll do it on the front view right here with the line tool. I'm going to start in the bottom left-hand corner, and I'm going to draw, and I'm going to ignore that notch that's cut out of there, out of that corner. I'm just going to draw this entire bottom edge 3.25 inches. I'll click that into place. I'm going to head straight up. It's 0.75 tall. To the left, do a little bit of quick math, and I'll figure out that 3.25 inches long minus 0.75 gives me a 2.5 inch edge right here. Let's try that again. 2.5, enter. There we go. And I'll go straight up 1.5. And we'll work our way around. We'll finish it off and bring it back to the starting place. So there's my 2D sketch. Okay, again, I ignored the notch cut out right there. We'll come back to that. We'll cut that out later. We're going to extrude it. And let's pull that in at -2 inches. Right there. Now we're going to cut out the notch. Okay, we're going to draw on this surface right here. We're going to draw this little rectangle 0.75 deep by 1.25 long, and we'll extrude and cut that out right there. So let's do another sketch. This time we'll sketch right on that surface. Line tool. Actually, let's do a rectangular tool. Let's pull the rectangle out. Right now it's asking for the vertical dimension. Okay, going up and down, the 0.75. See, that's being typed. Before I hit enter, I'm going to hit the tab key, and I'll type in 1.25 for the other dimension, and then I'll hit enter. And I believe they want us to do one last left click of your mouse to set it into place. Okay, and there it is. Let's tilt that so we can see it. Alright, we're going to extrude again. Okay, but after we've selected it here, we need to go into our operation setting. So we're not going to make a new body, we're going to cut out of the old one. If you grab this arrow and you just pull that all the way through, it'll know you want to cut. If you go through another object, all you got to do is hit OK, and that operation is done. Okay, there is problem number 4 for you. Okay, we're going to draw number 5 next here. Some things that I'm looking at on this item. Although it looks a little bit complicated, we can break this down into simple steps. I think I can draw this right side view right there with that notch cut out. I think I can draw that first, and probably the easiest, and I get the most done on that view, and then later I'll just cut out this shallow hole right here, this square rectangular notch, and then that rectangular hole that goes all the way through. That can be a sketch of its own right there. So I'll start with the right side view. Okay, so a new sketch. I'm going to use this plane right there. Okay, and I'm going to draw my way around from the lower left-hand corner of the right side view. I'm going to draw across 1.13. And I'll click that into place. Now I'm going to draw the height. The entire thing is 5 inches. Okay, I got to zoom out with my wheel to get back. I'm going to zoom in closer here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, as I come across, that top piece is 0.38. I'm going to go straight down. The depth is 1.5. This is another 0.38 across. Back up to the top. Over 0.38. And I'll close it off right there for you. Okay, so that's the right side view that I'm looking at. Let's see, next I'm going to extrude this through. And we'll pull that out. It looks like it's 1.5. You can see that in the front view. And I meant to type negative, so let me add that in there. Negative, enter. Okay, we'll then go ahead and create another sketch right on this surface. I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm just going to guess for now about where I want it. Right there, I do know it goes from one edge to the other on this object. Okay, and I'm going to use my sketch dimension tool. Okay, I see in my front view right here, I see this edge right here of this thing. It doesn't tell me right there, but if I go over here it says it's 0.63 from the bottom and it's 1.75 long right there. So those are my two numbers. So let's use the sketch dimension tool, click the bottom, click the line, click it down, so that's 3 left clicks, 0.63, enter. Same thing, the command is still on, I don't need to go get it again. Set that down, 1.75, enter. There we go. So that's ready to be extruded. Okay, I have one more rectangle I need to draw. I'll draw this right in the center as best as I can. Again, using the sketch dimension. Okay, according to the directions over here, this thing is 0.63 wide. Well, how do I get that centered with equal space on both sides? So 1.13 minus 0.63 is a ½ inch left over. So I need to divide a ½ inch in half, so I get a 1/4 inch here, 0.25 and 0.25 there. Okay, and then it's 0.38 on the ends, which is given right there. So that's how I came up with those numbers. So sketch dimension from this edge to there. I'll set that down, 0.25. 0.5, 0.38 on the ends. Right there. Okay. And now I need to extrude that in and cut things out here. So back to extrude. Let's pick this one first. And let's have that go a negative. It tells me over here it's 0.25 deep right there. So that number, that's how I got that. Negative 0.25. I can go in, and then I'm going to extrude again that surface, and I need to cut it, and let's have that one go all the way through. So I'm just going to grab it, I'm just going to pull it way through, and I'll hit OK. Alright, and that one is done right there. Problem number 5. Alright, it looks like we are on to problem number 6 now. We have a round object. It's like kind of a wheel or a spool, a thread spool, something like that. That is a hole that's cut through, and this is a shallow notch wrapping around the outer edge right here. This is where the thread would wrap around. We're going to draw half of this thing this time, and we're going to use the revolve tool to spin it the rest of the way around. Okay, so by half I mean from this, like the middle line right here, to up here, up above. We'll draw that, and we'll let the revolve tool spin this thing all the way around, and the rest will get taken care of. So we'll start a new sketch as always. We'll go in the front view right there. Alright, I'm going to draw 3.25 tall. I'm going to go to the right, 0.5. I'm going to head straight down, 0.5. I'm going to head to the right, 1.5. Back up, over 0.5. And we'll finish it off right there. So there's my half section. Okay, I did not account for the hole in the middle. We'll come back to that at the end. We'll extrude that out after it's a 3D model. Okay, I'm then going to move on in the Create menu. I'm going to go to Revolve. Revolve spins something, two-dimensional thing around an axis, like a wheel spins around an axle. So Revolve. Okay, I'm going to select the surface. I'm going to select the axis by clicking on the button for axis. This is my location right there. So it's spun it around, and if that looks okay to you, you can hit OK. Right there, and to finish it off, let's sketch and draw the hole through the center. So I'm going to need the circle tool. We'll do a center diameter circle, that's fine. So I'm going to grab the center of the hole and I'm going to pull this out. That hole there is a diameter of 1.13. If I type that in and hit enter, I have a diameter measurement, which is what it's given in the directions. And finally, we will extrude and we will cut this right out of the center. Okay, and that one is now done. This is problem number 7. Okay, I see this happening in 2 parts. We have the base right here. We'll draw that first. We'll round over the edges. Then I'm going to show you how to offset this edge plane in 0.25 inches so that you can draw this vertical plane right here and extrude that across. So that's the way I'm going to show you this one. Alright, let's start by doing a sketch. on the top view plane, rectangle. Alright, I see that we have a 1.5 tall tab by 3 inch base right there, so that's a top down view looking at it. Let's extrude. And let's pull this up. Excuse me. Let's pull that up 0.38 inches. That's how thick it is. Let's then go on and let's go on into the modify menu and let's go to fillet. Fillet is you rounding over an edge. This would be like using the router tool in the wood shop. This is what it looks like in 3D. Okay, this thing should have a radius of 0.125. So let's select our edges here first. Okay, I'm going to select all 4. Radius should say 0.125. And all you gotta do is hit OK. So that's an 1/8 of an inch radius. That's a pretty small radius we put on there. So the lower part, the base, is done. Next, I want to draw a vertical plane standing up, so I can draw this kind of V-shaped block right here. That V-shaped block, of course, is 0.25 inches in from this edge, so we can't just draw it out here. We have to move that in right there. So I'm going to use the construct menu. We're going to offset a plane. We're going to use this plane right here, this flat one. And we're going to set that in a negative 0.25. Now we're going to use that plane to create a sketch on. I'm going to select that. So although it looks like I'm drawing on this front edge here, I'm actually 0.25 inches into the material. So I can then grab the line tool. And let's draw this shape. I'll use the dimension tool to fix some things up here in a moment. So 1.25 tall. I'm going to head at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to use the degree field there. I'm going to use tab so I can switch that over. It should be 45 degrees, tab, and this thing is 1.2 inches long. Enter. Click that in place. 0.3 that way. Okay. If you want to go and continue this, okay, 45 degrees up here. .2 long. Right there. And let's finish off our line back to the base. Right there. I do need to fix the dimensions. I didn't actually measure how far away from this edge this needed to be. And that's 0.5. Okay, there it is. It shifted the whole drawing over. The rest should be correct. And we'll extrude that a negative. Looks like 1 inch, -1. Right there. So the directions here didn't actually tell you -1 inch. I just subtracted 0.25 and 0.25 from 1.5 to get that. Okay, and that's number 7. Alright, we're looking at number 8 this time. We'll draw a box, we'll add an arc to it, offset some lines, and cut these holes into this piece. Okay, we'll start off with a 3x2 rectangle. So new sketch, let's draw it in the front plane, rectangle, 2 tab 3. Okay, also in the sketch menu there's a tool called the arc. You could draw it a few different ways. I think I would either choose 3-point or center point arc, either one. We'll do a center point arc. Let's draw it from the center right here at the midpoint of our line. Start there, and we'll come out here to this edge, and we'll swing that arc around to the other edge, right there. So looking at our two arcs here, we've got a difference of 0.5 between them. And you can see this is a 0.5 difference all the way around here. So I'll use the offset command, which is under the sketch menu. Let's offset this in a negative 0.5. Right there, that looks pretty good to me. Let's right click and repeat offset again. And let's take this one and let's bring that one in. I believe that's a negative 0.5. Right there. Okay, and let's do it again. So it looks like that one's going to be a negative 0.5 as well. There we go. Okay, we need to trim up some of our lines. In the sketch menu there's a trim command. You can also press T. Let's trim that one off. It will cut off the lines at the nearest intersection if they cross each other when you use this command. So now we've got it cleaned up. And we're ready to extrude. And it looks like we're going to be going a negative 0.75. And this one is done. Okay, on problem number 9, I'm going to start this one by drawing the right side view right over here, this end, and I'll extrude that through as kind of an L shape, and then we'll come back and we'll cut out this arc right there. Okay, so I'm going to draw a 1.25 by 1.75 and so on across there, and one across the top. Alright, so here we go, new sketch. Let's draw the right side plane, which is this one. Grab the line tool. I'm drawing across the bottom, 1.25, enter, and a left click. Going straight up, 1.75, enter, and a click. Just a plain old 1. Inch, and then we'll head down. Looks like we need to go down 1.25 and over 0.25 and closing it off right there. Okay, so that's our end, the right side end, that is. Let's extrude that. Pull that out 2.5 inches. Try that again. Let's do a negative 2.5. There we go. We're going to do another sketch right on this face of the arc. We'll go to our arc tool inside the sketch menu. Let's do a center point arc because I need to center this on that face. So center point arc is the command I'll select. Okay, let's pick a spot to start here. I'm going to do a radius of 0.75. I'll place that down on the edge. I'll swing that around to there. Alright, this is not centered yet perfectly, so let's dimension that with the sketch dimension tool. From the corner to the center should be half of 2.5, so it should be 1.25 right there. So it was just slightly off, but now it's correct. Okay, if I were to extrude this arc, pull that through, and hit OK. I'm now done with number 9. Alright, we are looking at number 10 for this one. It looks like we'll be drawing this front shaded face right here. We got to draw a rectangle, we'll draw a straight line up, we'll do an arc, we'll do a circle, and so on. We'll use all this information. Looks like there isn't a lot of measurements given over in the other two views, the top and the right, other than the extrusion distance. So let's draw ourselves a 3 by 0.5 inch rectangle to get started. So a new sketch is needed. Let's use the front view right there. I'm going to draw a line for this one instead of a rectangle. Let's do 3 inches and click. Let's go straight up 0.5, enter, left click. Let's go in 0.75, enter, and click. And we're going to go up 0.5 and the left click. I'm going to hit escape to get out of the line command because I want to go start it again over here and finish it. So I'm going to right click, repeat line, and click there. We're going to go up 0.5. We're going to go in 0.75. And we're going to go up 0.5. Alright, so we've got some blue lines here, a lot of dimension lines. Let's do a center point arc. Here's the center, here's the radius, bring that around, and there's the end point. Okay, we might as well draw the circle in the center as well while we're at it, so that gets extruded. Center diameter circle. Let's use the same center point as the arc. Pull that out, and we're talking about a 0.75 diameter circle. Enter. Alright, and let's extrude this, and I believe we'll be done. So just this surface only. Let's do a negative 1.75. And there we are. No, problem number 10 is finished. Alright, we are at problem number 11. This is the first part in a series of parts that are going to get assembled or put together. For now, we're going to draw just a plain old 3x3 square, and we're going to do some holes. Okay, we will not be using the circle tool to extrude through. We're actually going to use a command called hole, and we get some specific holes with countersink slants here at the top. Alright, so for now, let's do the 3x3 top view rectangle tool, and I'll do a 3, tab 3, enter, and I do need to click my mouse, I believe, into place. Okay, there it is. I'm going to use the extrude tool to bring that up 0.63. And now for the holes. Okay, I'm going to create a sketch on the top surface. Okay, and before I can make the holes, which are in the create menu, okay, before I do that, I need to go to sketch instead. I need to put center points. So use the point tool. Let's place this in here. Okay, these are center points of the 4 holes. They will be lined up with each other, so use those blue lines to help guide you. Alright, and let's use the dimension tool, which is under sketch. Sketch dimension tool. You could also use the letter D as a quick key. I'm going to dimension from the edge to the point, and there's a third click right there. It says it's 0.63 inches away. Okay, I'm going to hit D for dimension again. Let's dimension from here down and another click, another 0.63 right there. Okay, I could continue on and I could continue to dimension these other ones. Let me show you another way to get things to lock together. These are called constraints. If you look over here at the sketch palette, these symbols right here, we'll be using the horizontal vertical constraint. So if I click on that option and I click the point I was just working on, and then I want to make this one constrain or be the same as that one in a vertical position, horizontal position, excuse me. And I'm going to do the same. I'll click this one and I'm going to click that one so it moves over and it's now vertical with it. And let's do the same from here to here. Okay, those are constrained, and let's repeat the same for these last two right there. Okay, let's see if we can dimension this last one here. We want to make sure it's the right distance away from the edge. 0.63. There we go. It moves them both because they're constrained to each other. And 0.63 down here. Okay, and I believe that's enough for us because these are all, the rest of them are all locked in right there. Okay, so now we have our hole centers located. We should be able to go over here to the create menu. Let's go down to the hole command right there. And we're going to select these 4 points. Right here. We do need to type in some information about them and select a certain style of hole for them. The diameter, the outside diameter is 0.38 inches. Okay. And that's on all 4. So let's take that information. Let's go over here to the menu. In this menu right here, you'll see that there's different types of holes. So just a plain old straight hole through is a simple hole. We need the countersink hole that leaves room for a screw and the head of a screw to fit. And you'll see that happen right there. Okay, our depth goes all the way through. Okay, so we'll make sure that goes all the way through. I just typed in a bigger number than I needed to. Our diameter is 0.38. There. The countersink diameter, let's just make that a 1/2 inch. That should work. And we're okay. So there's those holes. Let's reopen that same sketch and let's add the last hole in the center. So if you right click, so to continue sketching here, I'm going to open up our sketches menu. I've got 2 sketches showing. Sketch 1 is the very first one. Here's sketch 2 up above. That's the one I want. I need to right click on that and open it up again by hitting edit sketch. So I'm sketching back here where those 4 holes were. Let's add the last hole in place by putting a point right in the very center. Okay, let's dimension that. There we go. So 1.5 would center that, and also from the top 1.5 right there. Let's use the hole tool. Let's go back to a simple hole. It's straight through and it has a diameter of 0.25. Right there. And this one is finished. We're at problem number 12 now. real simple square with a circle extruded through it for a hole. We don't even necessarily need to do the hole command on this one. Okay, so we got 2 inches by 2 inches, and the hole is centered with a extrusion of a 1/2 inch. So we'll do a new sketch. Let's do it on the top view plane, right there. Rectangle tool. Okay, 2, tab 2. Enter. Alright, so there's our rectangle. And we might as well draw a circle in here while we're at it. So to the circle command, use the center diameter circle. Okay, use the very center. And if you go over to the midpoints, they'll help you line up if you're in the very dead center. So I'm looking at that dashed blue line from both midpoints. I'm going to click that. Now I know I'm exactly in the center. Okay, my diameter, according to the directions over here, is 1. So I'll do that and enter. Okay, I had an issue there with the dimension working correct, so I'm going to force it to be right. 1, enter. There we go. So I have a 1 inch diameter. Okay, let's extrude it. I'm only going to extrude the outer portion. Okay, and we can go down at -0.5. Okay, and this one is finished. Alright, for problem number 13, we're going to draw another half section, and we're going to use the revolve tool to revolve or spin this thing around to create the 3D object. So this will not be an extrusion that we're doing. So I'll be drawing up this center line, over and around. We'll be drawing this half shape, and then we'll spin it around this direction with the revolve tool. Okay, so drawing just half of the picture. Alright, so here comes our new sketch. You pick either one of these views, probably doesn't matter too much. Line command. So again, I'm going to draw right up the very center of the whole thing. If you were to add up this entire project, you would have, the height is 2.25 inches. If you were to add all of those up. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go to the right from the center. And it says if you have a radius of 0.5, there's that. Let's head down 0.5 as well. We're going to head inward 0.13. We're going to go down 0.13 as well. Back out 0.13. 0.13 is the same thing as 1/8 of an inch. And we'll go finish this off, heading down 1 inch. Back in 0.38. There it is. There's our object. And this time we'll use the revolve tool. So there's our surface. We need to pick our axis to spin it around so it knows which way to go. So I'm going to select that right here. Select the axis, which is that tall center line. There's our preview. If that looks good, you hit OK. Okay, and we are done with this problem. Alright, problem number 14. We've got this C-shaped collar right here. This will fit onto the problem number 13. We got two arcs to draw. We got a 1/2 inch radius and a 0.38 or 3/8 inch radius, and we'll leave a 90-degree gap out of here, and then we'll finally extrude at 0.13. Okay, so you start a new sketch. Okay, work on the top view. Select arc. I would do a center point arc right there. So we'll start with the center, and then we'll pull out the two ends of the arc. So here's the center. I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to type, let's do the 0.5, let's do the bigger one first. Enter. You can then grab this dot after you've hit enter, and you can pull this around. So you're right here, leaving a 90-degree gap out of there. Let's make sure that our size is correct. I have a feeling it's not here, so let's use sketch dimension, and let's correct that dimension. Let's see if it worked here. There we go. Okay, it's definitely not correct, so we need a 0.5. There we go, now it is. Alright, let's do that one more time. Center point arc. So let's use the same center. I'm just going to guess for this first time. Let's click. Let's pull out our line. And then let's use dimension to fix it. That one should be a 0.38. And finally, let's finish it off with the line tool and close off our shape.
7th graders interested in purchasing a ticket for the dance. We're selling them for $5 in the locker bay.
There we go.
Get your ticket for your
And
dance.
let's extrude it. 0.13. And this one is finished. For problem number 15, we're not going to draw anything new. We're just going to put together the parts that you've already made, numbers 11 through 14, as an assembly. I'm going to show you how to put these together. So the first thing to do would be to go over here to your data panel and show that with that button right there. Okay, this brings up files you've looked at or worked on before. I've organized mine into a folder called warm-up problems, so I'm going to open that up. And here's all the drawings I've done so far in this activity. I'm going to start by going to number 11, and I'll right-click on it. I'll insert it into the design. I'll place that over here. I can just simply hit OK there. And I'm going to continue to do the same thing for numbers 12, 13, and 14. And I am going to drag this one around, if it'll let me. Drag that over there. I need two of those, so I'll bring in two number 12s. Then I'll drag that off to the side and hit OK. Number 13. There's fine. Number 14. You can set those apart like that. Okay, now to bring them all together as an assembly and lock them together, we're going to do something that you'll find underneath the assemble panel. These are all going to be joint commands, so the letter J on your keyboard will work. So hit joint. We need to select the location on this object that's going to match up with the other object. So right here, this post, the top edge of the post, if you were to look underneath there, the top edge of the post right in the center, or that ring right there, that would work. I'm going to pair that up with this hole right here. Okay, and that'll move over into place. You'll see it's a rigid fit right there. We can adjust different styles of these constraints, but we'll just go with rigid, which basically means it's glued together. If we did a revolute, that will allow you to spin the object and so on, but for now let's just do rigid and okay. Let's do it again. Okay, to bring this collar into place, I'm going to use the inside surface of the hole. I'll pair that up with post. Okay, and let's see how this fits here. Looks like it's worked out. Had it been flipped upside down, I could hit the flip button. Looks like it worked pretty well. Repeat the same. And finally the collar. Looks like that needs to be flipped. And I now have it done. Right there. Okay, for problem 16, looks like we have a big box with some rectangular holes cut through it. Okay, I'm going to start a sketch. It really doesn't matter which plane you want to pick. I'll go with the front view then. Okay, our box is 1.75 tall by 3 inches long. I'm going to use the offset command, which is given right here. You could use the letter O on the keyboard. I'm going to offset these lines. I'm going to offset them in by 0.38 of an inch. Let's make that a negative 3/8. Okay, my sketch is finished. I'm going to extrude that through. Let's go a negative 1.75. Okay, let's sketch on the top view. Let's see if it'll let us offset these lines here. And it does. So let's go a negative 0.38 again. And let's extrude that surface. And let's drag it all the way through. Let's sketch over here. Offset. Negative 0.38 again. Extrude. And there it is. Number 16 is done. Alright, for problem number 17, I see a couple ways to draw this. We could draw the right side view right here. That would work. We could also draw the top view and then come back and add these pieces at the top. Either one is acceptable. I think I'm going to go with the top view, just out of preference. So I will be picking the top plane right there. Let's draw with the line tool. I'm going to start in the upper left-hand corner of the top view. 1.75 over. And I'll click that down. I'm going to head straight down to where the arc starts, which is 2.9 inches down. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over from the other side, 2.9, enter, left click. Okay, I'm then going to grab my arc tool, do a center point arc. So at this point it's hard to get the center point figured out, so I'm just going to draw myself a temporary line across here. Let's do a center point arc. And the very center point of the line. I'll start there, I'll go to the outer corner, and I'm going to swing this around to here. Okay, so that's how I got it. So that was a temporary line I drew. I deleted the line after I drew the arc into place. Okay, let's draw a circle. Diameter 0.5. Enter. Alright, and let's bring that up with an extrusion. Okay, it looks like our extrusion is only going to be a 1/2 inch. There it is. And let's sketch those two remaining objects that come up. Right here, a rectangular tool. Okay, I'm going to type two measurements. It's 0.5 tab 1.75. And I'll set that down right on the object. So it makes a whole lot more sense to draw it in a top-down view than a 3D view. And draw the space between. 0.75 tab 1.75 enter. And I'll left click that into place. Let's draw another rectangle. This is the last piece to be extruded. 0.5 tab 1.75 enter and a left click. Alright, so there's what we have so far. I'm going to hit the home button right up here. Alright, and let's extrude both this and this all at the same time. And those can come up, looks like they come up a 1/2 inch. Right there, and we are finished. Okay, this is problem number 18. We've got a few different parts to draw in here. We've got a base, and we got this upper section. We've got to draw some slanted lines. Okay, there's no angles given here, so I think we'll be locating this spot, drawing kind of a triangle around here, finding that spot. We'll just connect the two endpoints with the line right there. So we don't even need to know that angle. Okay, let's draw the base first. See the base in the top view looks like it is 1.5 in one direction, with the tab key, 3.5 in the other direction. Okay, and we can extrude that up. Over in the right view it says that it's a 1/2 inch tall. Okay, so the lower part is done. Alright. So looking back at our drawing here, you're going to see that this shape is set in by a distance. Let's see if we can figure this out here. This is 0.75 wide. The whole thing is 1.5 inches. So it leaves 1.5 minus 7.5 is 0.75. But you got to divide that in half. So this is 0.38 on either side here. So what I'm going to do to draw this surface up here, even though there's no surface available, we're going to use the construct menu. We're going to offset a plane, offset it from this plane. Let's do a negative 0.38 right there. Now we can select that for my next sketch right there. So we're drawing further into the object. Okay. Okay, now to actually draw it, I want to start at this corner right here. This, if I do the math and add this up, this is all 2.75 from here to here. If you subtract that from 3.5, you get a difference of 0.75. Divide that by two sides, so it's 0.38, or 3/8 of an inch from the end. So I'm going to draw a temporary line from this end point over 0.38 and set that down. I'll continue on. I'm going to draw straight up. This whole thing is 1.5. And I'm going to draw over 0.5, enter. And I'm going to draw right back to where I started. Okay, at this point I can now delete these temporary lines, okay, because I got the line that I need. Continuing on, now it's just typing in numbers and drawing lines according to what it tells me. So it's an inch deep, it's a ½ inch wide. .63, another 0.5. This is one of those temporary lines. Straight down. Okay, and we'll draw back up to here. Okay, and that allows us to delete these ones out. Okay, there we are. And now we should be able to extrude that. And that's going to be a distance of negative 0.75. Right there, and our last sketch is down here at the bottom. Okay, I see this one is a ½ inch from the edge. And draw straight up 0.25. We're going to draw over 0.125. Back down. Okay, let's draw straight down, and let's connect the dots here for the last line. Okay, so now I should be able to delete these two lines out, and we extrude to finish it. Alright, and there's our finished product right there. So our final 3D model is problem number 19. I'm going to draw the end view, which will actually be the front view right here. We'll make that 1 inch tall by 2 inches wide. We'll add this arc in here and we'll extrude that across. I'll come back and add the triangle at the top. And use the front view. And use the rectangle tool to start. 1, tab 2, enter. draw my arc from the center. The center is right there at that X. I'm going to type 0.63 enter to lock in that size, and I need to make sure I'm right on the line and I see the X show up. If the X is not there, you will not get the results you're hoping for, so make sure you see the X show up, so it's truly right on that boundary. If we extrude now, it'll allow us to pick just this surface. If the X wasn't there, it wouldn't see these two differently. So I'm going to extrude that a distance of -3. Okay, I'm going to sketch on the top surface with our line tool to the center point. From here back to that center point and across. Okay, we'll extrude this up, and that comes up, how far? I think that comes up a 1/2 inch. There we go. And there's our last one done.